Hi friends, welcome to this short online video explaining GMC's child protection policies. This isn't the most fun video you're probably going to watch today, and I appreciate you taking the time to make sure you understand your role in keeping young people safe at GMC and making sure we're creating an environment that is loving and reflects God's love for young people and for everyone. So I want to begin by acknowledging that this isn't always an easy topic, and that undoubtedly for some people who are listening, this is something that you've experienced personally. And so I invite you to do what you need to do to take care of yourself watching this, absorbing this, and just recognizing that we all bring different experiences and different strengths and insights to the work of creating a safe community. So I'll be walking us through some of the policies, and I'll be doing it mostly outside, because I figure if we're going to talk about something difficult, we might as well do it in the sun. So what do you do if a young person reports abuse to you? First, stay calm and listen carefully to the child. Take their words seriously and keep any physical evidence they give you. Don't ask leading questions or probe for more details. If it's appropriate, say, "Tell me more," or you can ask other open-ended questions. You can give emotional support, and you can remind the child that this is not their fault, and that they were courageous and they were right to tell you about the problem. You can express your own sincere emotions. Tell the child how sad you feel that this happened. Tell them how sad God feels when children are hurt. And most importantly, assure them that you're going to do everything you can to make the abuse stop. Explain that in order to help, you're going to have to tell some other people, and this may include informing their parent or guardians if those are not the people who have caused harm. Next steps, informing the proper people. Informing the proper people has two parts. Part one is ensuring the state is informed through the Childline service, and the second part is informing church leadership. First, under Pennsylvania law, you are a mandated reporter. This means that if a child discloses to you that they are being abused, or if you have a strong reason to believe they're being abused, you are required to make sure the state is informed through the Childline service. This does not mean that you have to make the call to Childline yourself. If you suspect abuse, you can ask a pastor or anyone from the Child Protection Advisory Board at GMC to make the call with you. We'll get to that board in a minute. Childline is a part of a mandated state child protection services program designed to accept child abuse referrals and general child well-being concerns and transmit the information quickly to the appropriate investigating agency. Childline is responsible for receiving of verbal and electronic referrals 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The toll-free hotline is 1-800-932-0313 and is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to receive reports of suspected child abuse. You can also report electronically. Secondly, any inappropriate conduct or relationship between adults and children or youth should be reported immediately to the Child Protection Advisory Board and the pastor at GMC. If the pastor is the person you have a concern about, you can approach the other pastor or just a member of the Child Protection Advisory Board. Which gets us to, what the heck is the Child Protection Advisory Board? This is an ad hoc committee of church members who make sure we are both in compliance with state guidelines and doing everything we can to ensure the safety and well-being of young people in our church. Carla Toot, Jay Burkholder, Katie King, and myself are currently on that committee. Okay, it got a little loud outside, so I came in here to talk about what happens next. Childline takes, on average, less than 2 days to process a report, and they'll refer it to the appropriate agency, and what action is taken depends on the type of and time period for abuse. At GMC, the child safety is our first concern. We will do whatever we can to ensure that if the alleged offender is a participant in the youth ministry at GMC, we will remove them temporarily from their duties and from any environment that gives them access to the young person during the investigation. We will also pull together a care team, a team of 3 people who all have training in child abuse and response procedures, led by someone from the Child Protection Advisory Board. They will meet with the children and with the child and their family, assess further needs, explain the procedure to be followed, and offer support and care, including resources. This group will be responsible for maintaining confidentiality, completing all the necessary forms and paperwork, reporting to the advisory board, and making sure necessary changes are made to provide healing and reduce the likelihood of similar abuse in the future. The care team will also meet with the person who allegedly caused harm and their family, if relevant, to assess the situation, explain the procedure, and provide support. Next steps are largely dependent on what action is taken by the state and what is discerned by the advisory board. Different plans exist if the allegations are found to not be true, if they're found to be untrue but there's still cause for concern, or if they're found to be true. Okay, so what do we do to reduce the likelihood that we ever have to use these policies that I just talked about? One of the things we can do is try to use the 2 adult rule at all times. The policy states that 2 approved adult workers will be present during any church activity involving minors. Preferably, these adults would not be related to each other, and approved young leaders under the age of 18 may assist in classrooms with adult supervision, but they can't substitute for the leadership of an adult and should never be left alone with a child or group of children. We also encourage children over the age of 5 to use a buddy system when traveling throughout the building for activities such as using the restroom or locating a parent. That part of the policy is actually included in the church bulletin most Sundays. We also encourage adequate adult supervision for children under the ages of 3, 2 adults preferably of different genders, plus additional adults to match these ratios over here. We also want to minimize one child, one adult situations, keep doors open or have a window in the door when you're meeting with children, and also make sure that you're using appropriate hugs and touches that are reassuring or comforting, not uncomfortable or hurtful, avoiding total body-to-body hugs, touching in private areas, or kissing, using warm and caring verbal comments, not withholding food as a form of discipline, and of course always respecting a child or young person's refusal of affection. Children have the right to consent to touch. Finally, paperwork. Oh boy. We need child abuse and criminal background checks from all volunteers. We keep them in a locked filing cabinet here in the church office. We also require a driver release form detailing a driver's record for anyone transporting youth that they're not related to. We use parental permission forms and medical release forms for all activities for youth outside the church, and we use a nursery sign-in, sign-out sheet for youth in the nursery. Finally, for people who haven't volunteered with youth before this policy was implemented, we do an interview to assess how people work with youth and their history with discipline, parenting, and working with young people. All right, we did it. We made it through that video, and hopefully we've learned a couple of things about how child protection works at GMC. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. And now here is a very silly, unrelated video. Thank you.